Welcome back to The Grind. In this video, we are going to discuss some of the updated details about the Hueso branch as well as the Draconic chests. So first, let's take a look. Hueso is 25% increased in resources in the branch for the first 2 weeks of its release. So until the 10th of November, all the prizes within the branch will be a 20% bonus except for the Hueso shards. Now, that means that, well, and the runes, I guess. That means all the timers and chests that you claim will be 20% increased, which doesn't add up to a ton, but hey, it's better than nothing. Now, the interesting thing about the Hueso branch is it doesn't go as long as the others. It only goes up to 3 keys and enough shards to get you to Obsidian tier. And basically, the shards are at each location that the stones would have been at. So this you can interpret as being the Obsidian Stone, which means that it takes 30 shards to evolve to Obsidian tier. After that, a total of 18,000 sigils into this branch to get Obsidian tier Hueso. You have this unlimited, repeatable Draconic chest node for 500 sigils. Now, this is actually a fairly decent deal, and we're going to discuss those details more at the end of the video. Now let's take a look at the Draconic chests. They are in the armory next to the other chests here, and we're going to do a comparison of what you can get from these chests, and we're going to first open up some of them just for the fun of it so we can see some real-time drops, and then we're going to go down into the a full breakdown of the averages of these chests and what I recommend doing with your hard-earned rubies and sigils. Really quickly, just to keep it all summed up, the platinum chests give great rewards, but they don't give all the same rewards that gold chests do. If all you want is the rewards that are in the platinum chests, and you have a lot of rubies to spend on them, then platinum chests are reasonable. However, the gold chests give lots of other useful stuff as well, and the platinum chests are much more random. So if you open up 50 platinum chests, you might have a streak of bad drops, and it would cost you a lot. And it would end up being worse than gold chests, because with gold chests, you end up opening a lot more, so you get much closer to the average and overall do better. So you can take a look at the drops that are in them if you would like to. But if you're only opening up, even if you're opening up like 200,000 rubies worth of chests, I would still say it's better to go with the gold chests unless you're just really lazy or short on time, or you want to get specific things that are in here. For example, the just fortification stuff, and say you want to open something during breeding event for whatever, or sorry, during breeding event or PvP event for whatever reason. But let's focus on Draconic chests. So I did go ahead and get a few of them, and we're going to open up 30 plus a bonus drop. So the first 10, what will it be? I got some Hueso shards, I got some more Hueso shards, I got even more Hueso shards, and then some more Hueso shards. So that was not exactly what I was hoping for. I got some defense hammers, some speed ups, some XP boosts, which are only 100, so not ideal. And then a larger defense hammer drop, which is quite nice. A lot of people are short on hammers because we use up those more frequently than the others. And then a nice chunk of mythic fragments. That's not bad. 50 is fairly nice. So the next 10, let's see if we can do any better. Wow, there we go. That is, I would definitely say, better. We did get a mystic or mythic drop with 200 mystic fragments. So that is very nice to add to my stack. Also got a nice drop of egg tokens, 2 drops of egg tokens actually. These actually drop a large portion of egg tokens, which is quite nice. And then a little bit of sigils, but not a whole lot, and a bit more timers. All right, the last 10, what will we get? We got a few more legendary drops, some nice stack of inner fires and energy packs, and more hammers, so not too bad. Some more of those XP boosts, and 100 soul dance sigils. So overall, that was only like 200 soul dance sigils, right? And then some hammers and speed up. So not too impressive. And let's see what we can do with this bonus drop here. More egg tokens, so not bad. Egg tokens are something that are definitely needed, at least for me and most players. Only people that don't need them are the very end game players. So not too bad. Really didn't get any sigils out of that though. So let's open up 30 and a bonus of the gold chests just for comparison, because why not? Wow, a lot more legendary drops in this one. Some pearls and embers, which are nice, but then the shards, I don't really use them. Not very many timers there. And then 125 sigils, not too bad. And then the dragon HP, meh. Another 10 here. We are going to get some speed ups, more shards, which I don't really care about, more sigils, and you can probably hear my cat in the background. I apologize. And then some egg tokens, but a smaller number of them. And then some more timers there, and another 10. We shall see more sigils, more timers, more pearls, more egg tokens. So overall, we did a lot better with sigils from the gold chests, at least from the section that we were at. And then the bonus was sigils. So I think we mostly got lucky, but that is something to keep note of, is the Draconic chests actually don't drop as much sigils as the gold chests do. So you do want to keep that in mind. What is your goal with them? Now we're going to go and break it down in more details and really decide what is the best for you. Really quickly, they did answer on the forum some frequent questions. So the 20% resource bonus we talked about. The chests will cost 1,000 rubies each, or 800 rubies for a set of 10. Or if you complete the Hueso branch, you can get 4 Draconic chests for 500 sigils, and you can repeat that as many times as you would like. These Draconic chests will be available next season and indefinitely in the future, so you can continue to get Hueso shards next season as well to continue to level up this dragon. However, during this season, the Hueso shards will be dropping at an increased rate. So if you want the Hueso shards, open them now. If you'd rather not the Hueso shards, you can wait until next season. They did confirm on the forums that they will be around next season, but we do not know exactly what weeks they will be available. The schedule has not been determined, so there will be some downtime of these chests, but a majority of the time they should be available, so keep that in mind when you decide what to do with your chests. If you are interested in seeing a full layout of all the things that are available, I will leave this chart here, which was posted on the forums. You might have to zoom in, but now, for the moment I'm sure most of you have been waiting for, the comparison of Draconic chests to gold chests. Now, this was put together using a combination of people's resources. Zami did get all the data together as far as the averages of each drop, and Orca used all that to put together this comparison table. So the first column is all the resources that drop from the chests. The next one is just buying Draconic chests, and then the second line is using super sigil chests to get extra sigils to then spend at the end of the Hueso branch to get Draconic chests, which means you have to have completed the Hueso branch already for this to work. And then the third column, the final column is if you were to spend your sigils, your rubies on gold chests during a PvP and open them. And it's ×2 because they cost half as much as Draconic chests. Now, it is important to note that these numbers are divided out to equal, for an 800 ruby investment, you would get this many of that resource. So it is all average and evened out across the board as a direct comparison, if you trust Orca and the math that they did. So basically, this is showing that straight up buying Draconic chests versus gold chests and opening them in PvP, you will get more timers. A lot of players level 300 or 400 plus tend to be short on timers, and so they focus their efforts towards how to get the most timers in a season. Or lower level players, if you want to plan ahead, you can also start to think that way as well. So Draconic chests end up being better for timers. Now that does come at a pretty significant cost, because straight up buying them with rubies, you end up getting almost half the sigils that you would get from spending them on gold chests. So that's a big thing to keep in mind depending on what you're using them for and when. Now, the egg tokens, you end up getting about the same. Inner fires are a little bit more, energy packs are a little bit more, and then of course you get the Hueso shards, but not from the gold chests. And then the mystic fragments, you get a lot more from these chests, so you will be getting more resources for breeding. Plus you get hammers, and then of course the EXP boost as well. So the Draconic chests give you more timers for progression in fortification, as well as fragments for progression in breeding events. Now, let's compare it. If you had extra sigils this season and you already completed the Hueso branch, so you have the option to spend 500 sigils for 4 Draconic chests. If during the last 2 weeks of the season, you spend some extra rubies on those sigils or use the extra sigils that you had, then open the Draconic chests, you would be getting a much better value because the super sigil conversion rate using rubies into super sigils to get sigils to then get Draconic chests ends up being a better value. So earning those chests this way will be much better for you overall if you have that option. Now, how does it compare? So the timers that you would get would be more than double than if you spent those rubies in on gold chests. And the sigils that you would get are still a little bit less, but much closer to what you would get from gold chests. The egg tokens are fairly higher, so 516 instead of 358. The energy packs are a large amount more if you average that out over a large amount of openings, as well as the inner fires ends up being quite a lot more. And then the fragments, again, a lot more. And finally, the other random little things that you get on top of that. The hammers is the most interesting thing to me of the extra things that you don't usually want, because we usually run out of hammers, so that's kind of a nice little addition rather than the other boosts that nobody wants. So the bottom line is, in general, Draconic chests are actually reasonable value depending on what resources it is you are looking for and if you can handle the decreased sigil output that they give. Now, if you are going to get them from the end of the Hueso line, hopefully this is a theme for all the festive dragons that you can do that repeatable chest, then spending rubies on super sigil chests to get sigils to then get the Draconic chests ends up being a much better value across the board, except for a small decrease in sigil output than if you spent those rubies on gold chests. So if you're ending up with extra sigils and you did the Hueso branch and you want to stock up on some of these resources for next season, this is a valuable way to go about that. However, they haven't committed to a timetable of when these chests are going to be available. So if you don't open them this season, you might not be able to open them at the specific time that you want to next season if they are not available, but at some point they will be available. So just keep that in mind when you make your decision. So I know this was a little bit longer, but I do hope this was helpful, and I hope to see you in the next video.